Yeah, 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 yeah. I was sleeping, had to wake up. Why? Every reason I can think of. God, till the day I keep the ink up. And my priorities.
What's up, early risers, all my night owls? Adam Strain here. Thanks for tapping in. Before we dive in, just a quick heads up. This is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing here is meant to be taken as fact. It's just perspective, just vibes. As I always say, do your own research so you have no one to blame. Some of the content might be a little bit triggering, probably not, but just in case, I'm issuing this trigger warning. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Now, the mission of this channel is pretty simple: to build a space where ego takes a back seat and our ideas get a chance to breathe. So if you're down with that, you're in the right place. So without further ado, welcome to Adam Strain Reacts. Let's get her done.
Look at this shit here. Last night in East Hollywood, at least 31 people almost lost their life. A guy riding in a car jumped a curb and crashed into a group of people waiting in line to get in the club. And get this, most of the people that got injured were women. So they're saying that at least 31 people are injured. 5 people are in critical condition and 10 people, they're in very serious condition. Matter of fact, look at this shit. Now, the people that were injured were waiting in front of this club right here, waiting to get in on Santa Monica Boulevard. Reports are basically saying that they don't know if it was intentional or not. But then you have other people saying that the person that ran into the group of people was unconscious when he did it. But the craziest thing about this story is, out of the group of people that got injured, one of them had a gunshot wound. Now, I want you to try and process what I just said. I said that one person out of the people that were injured had a gunshot wound. Where did that happen at? Yeah, okay. I'm out.
Bill Gates.
This is a perfect example of sometimes I'm talking with someone and we end up talking about history and about the ancient timeline and about a lot of different things that happened in the past. We have a hard time knowing what happened yesterday. You understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes they talk to you about what happened 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years ago, but just keep that in perspective. Every time you listen to something like that, remember that we don't know what happened last year, let alone yesterday. So food for thought.
Gates is buying poop. I bet you didn't think you'd hear that today. So the Bill Gates is buying up poop, including human poop, to somehow offset the carbon emissions of his AI program. Yeah, I don't understand it either. You know, the Bill Gates is one of the top owners of farmland in the whole world. The whole world. He could use that poop for fertilizer and stuff. By the way, not to interrupt, but how do you imagine the Queen would think of this story of Bill Gates buying poop? You want to know something? This isn't the strangest story I heard today. This guy with the pointy hat is still arguing with his youngest son over that son's weirdo wife for some reason. So we got the royal family having fits. You know, that's to be expected. And we got Bill Gates buying up all the poop in the world. Never tell me things don't change. They do. But they just keep getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Shabadoo wooskies. Shabadoo.
So y'all, the animals are...
I don't know. Bill Gates buying the poop. If it's human poop, it's still human DNA, right? So there's still something that could be done with that. I don't know. Just food for thought. There might be another reason, and that's why it doesn't make sense.
definitely trying to tell us something, because check this out, y'all. Check this out. Now, this is in Colorado. This is not Yellowstone. This is in the Rocky Mountains. I believe this is Estes Park, y'all. Estes Park in Colorado. What is going on here? Y'all see this? Now, I'm sure you guys remember that earlier this week, we saw the myriad of different animals leaving Yellowstone. And now this is going on in Colorado when those places are far and wide apart. Just to prove to you that Yellowstone and where this is currently taking place, the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, it is 7 hours and 37 minutes apart. So something is going on in that general area that's causing a disturbance within the animals, because now this is happening in Colorado. Now, this is what Yellowstone is looking like, and they're making some weird noise like they're in some type of distress or something. Y'all see how it just stopped? Y'all see that? Now, I did some research, and apparently Colorado is experiencing several wildfires that nobody's talking about, and one of them is called Deer Creek Fire, and you've got 16,000 of those acres that are currently burning. So do you guys think the forest fires has anything to do with the elk leaving the forest? I don't really know, man, but this is very interesting. All at the same time. And they're moving exactly how nature is supposed to be moving. Like, they ain't got a care in the world for what the humans got going on because they build on their land. But yes, y'all, things are gonna get a lot more interesting. Let me know what you guys think about this, y'all. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
An underwater volcano off the coast of Oregon has had about 300 earthquakes in the past week or so. Yeah, something similar just happened last week at Mount Rainier in Washington State. But the volcano in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Oregon, it's big, baby. It's big. Located right about there. The good news is it's about 300 miles off the shore. The bad news is this thing's been showing signs it's gonna erupt since January. And like I said, just in the past week or so, there have been a ton of mini earthquakes. And by many, I mean like 4 on the Richter scale and lower in the past week to 10 days. But other people are reporting that it's not 300 earthquakes. It's more like 1,000. 1,000? Whether it's 300 or 1,000, when you get a bunch of earthquakes around a volcano, that's usually a sign it's ready to go. Okay, everyone, I'll keep you updated on anything else I find. Shabadoo Bushkis, Shabadoo.
Have you guys seen the Doomsday Map? They came out with a map that looks like this.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
This is a
I want to know down below, would you guys be safe? I would not. I would have to move and relocate. What about you guys? Let me know down below. Would you guys be safe if this map turned out to be true?
feel like the whole world, but this shot is of America. But this lady, her name is Peggy Bolton. She did some really fun research regarding the Doomsday Map. She compared what this map looked like. She compared that to the land that Bill Gates has been buying, all the farmland. He is the majority farmland owner in the United States right now. She took the map of the farmland that he owns and overlaid it onto this Doomsday Map. Every single dry land piece was occupied by his farmland, including California. So California is basically completely underwater, but there's these.
If that's true, then they label people who look into these things as conspiracy theorists, right? But why are they spending money to buy up the land that would be in the dry region? You understand what I'm saying? So it's funny how when we speak about it, it's just a stupid idea, but they could act on it and no one says anything because it's just them buying land and there's no problem. I don't know if this is true. Like, I haven't checked it out. I'm gonna have to look into it. But if that's true,
little pockets of islands, you see those? That little one right there, that's one of his farmlands. Like that compared to like Zuckerberg, because on this Doomsday Map, Hawaii is completely fine. And she talked about how Jeff Bezos is also buying up farmland around the US. That all correlates with like these high points in America. It's super creepy.
So we need to get a boat.
According to this map, we're good. We're almost at beachfront property, baby.
I've been stripping for 50 days straight. What about you? Shit, I've been going like times out the week. Why am I working harder than you? That's your fault. That's real. You should be working harder than me. That's real, bro.
Hermeticism. Hermeticism is a spiritual, philosophical, and esoteric tradition that traces its origins to the writings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, a mythical figure said to be a combination of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. This tradition has profoundly influenced Western thought, especially during the Renaissance and the revival of interest in ancient wisdom. The roots of Hermeticism lie in the syncretic blend of Greek, Egyptian, and Near Eastern cultures in the early centuries of the Common Era, particularly during the Hellenistic period. The texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, known as the Hermetica, were written between the 1st and 3rd centuries EE. These writings cover a wide range of topics, including philosophy, astrology, alchemy, and theology. At its core, Hermeticism is based on the belief in a single, transcendent God who is the source of all creation. This divine source is both immanent and transcendent, existing within the material world while also surpassing it. Central to Hermetic thought is the idea of a correspondence between the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the individual human being, encapsulated in the famous Hermetic axiom, as above, so below. Hermeticism also emphasizes the pursuit of gnosis, or direct knowledge of the divine.
In today's video, we're covering the metaphysical topic of the 7 Hermetic Laws. Basically, to sum it up, the 7 Hermetic Laws are principalities, are 7 universal laws that affects us on a day-to-day basis, and there are no escaping them. This is how the universe operates. Dealing with the law of mentality, basically, your mind controls the universe. The law of correspondence, as above, so below. The law of vibration, everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. The law of polarity, everything has opposites. The law of gender, there is male and female counterparts within everything, including plants and flowers. The law of rhythm, everything flows in and flows out. And the law of cause and effect, there is a reasoning or there's a cause for why you are doing something, and as a result of your cause, you will get an effect. With that being said, quake out. Peace.
This is exactly why I don't follow trends. Everybody done bought that Laboo doll not even knowing the truth behind it. As y'all can see, the smiling face doll and the smiling face demon. The creator of Laboo actually got the idea from this creature from the Nordic folklore. And the craziest part is they even had a whole Simpsons prediction about this. And now we're starting to see by the dozens paranormal stories of these Laboobos. People having stuff move in their houses, they feeling like they've been watched. Whole time, they don't even know that they got a baby Chucky inside of their house. Probably makes sense on why they're so popular. And see, this is why you do not follow trends. Like, why would you want to buy something with the nickname The Devil's Pet? Me personally, I bump down with a Laboo with a holy water.
Watch as this professor explains life's most important philosophy. The ending is truly eye-opening.
Is this jar full?
No.
Is it full now? And how about now? Is the jar full now?
Yes.
Now I want you to recognize that this jar represents your life. Golf balls are the important things, your family, your friends, your health, and your passions. The pebbles are the other important, your job, your home. The sand is everything else, it's just the small stuff. Now, if you put the sand in the jar first, you won't have room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same is true in life. If you spend all your energy and your time on the small stuff, you won't have time for all the really important things that matter to you.
It's very helpful for people.
How amazing would it be if everyone had a teacher like that or lessons like that while they're growing up? I would almost guarantee that we would have better outcomes than the ones we're receiving now with the current model of education system. I find that so inspiring to have that type of lesson in class. It blows your mind, and it's nothing crazy. It was just a little jar with a few golf balls and a bit of sand and a bit of water. It's nothing crazy, but it really does open your mind. A good teacher will create thousands of bright minds, you know? I love it.
Hear that they should make themselves competent and dangerous and take their proper place in the world.
Competent and dangerous? Why dangerous?
Because it's the alternative to being weak. And weak is not good.
By dangerous, that implies I should be ready to threaten someone, to hurt somebody.
No, you should be capable of it. But that doesn't mean you should use it. Those who have swords and know how to use them but keep them sheathed will inherit the world. That's a way better way of thinking about it. There's nothing to you otherwise. Like, if you're not a formidable force, there's no morality in your self-control. If you're incapable of violence, not being violent isn't a virtue. Capacity for danger and the capacity for control is what brings about the virtue. Otherwise, you confuse weakness with moral virtue. I'm harmless, therefore I'm good. It's like, no, that isn't how it works. That isn't how it works at all. If you're harmless, you're just weak. And if you're weak, you're not going to be good. You can't be, because it takes strength to be good. It's very difficult to be good.
One of the most famous and important parables in Taoism is known as the story of the lost horse. It goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a farmer whose horse ran away, and everyone gathered round and said, "Oh, bad luck, friend." But the farmer only replied, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned with 6 wild horses in tow, and now everybody said, "What great luck." And the farmer just replied, "Maybe." The next day, the farmer's son tried to tame one of the horses, but he fell off and broke his leg. "Oh, what rotten luck," everyone said. And the old farmer replied, "Maybe." The next week, soldiers came for the farmer's son to join a hopeless war, but with his broken leg, the son could not march to his death. "Oh, amazing luck," the neighbors said. "It all worked out in the end." "Maybe," the old man replied. Taoists often compare the universe to the flow of a river. Sometimes there's smooth and gentle passages, and sometimes there's choppy waters and rapids. But as the old farmer knew, it's naive to say that this is a calm river because we don't know what is around the corner. The story of the lost horse is all about accepting the world as it is and not as you want it to be. All of the dark moments and hard times of your life are part of the river that led to now. The future might and probably will bring those hard times on again, but the river and you flow on.
This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte.
That's what they do.
And they power it up. And essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. Yes, this is true. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. This is not science fiction. This pill was actually made by a company called Proteus, and they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
And then what happens? Does your heart beat change? Does your
We can just tell that you've taken the pill. I mean, the medical application.
Does Google now know everything I do and everywhere I go? Because let's face it, we like you guys, but you're from Google.
Just give him some water and let him. It may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. And that's something that you wear, but you could also imagine including authentication in just your daily habits. So I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication? This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte.
That's what they do.
And they power it up. And essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. Yes, this is true. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. This is not science fiction. This pill was actually made by a company called Proteus, and they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
And then what happens? Does your heart beat change? Does your
We can just tell that you've taken the pill. I mean, the medical application.
Does Google now know everything I do and everywhere I go? Because let's face it, we like you guys, but you're from Google.
Just give him some water and let.
Okay, so what were these secret teachings?
If I'm not mistaken, that video comes from 2006. So it was a TED Talk, and he mentioned that the woman worked for Google. So if in 2006 they were thinking about transhumanism and authentication within your body separate from your phone, pushes me to wonder, what are the things that they're not telling us about, and what kind of inventions have they developed since then? So it's a very interesting rabbit hole to go down. It's an old video that I thought of that had really shaken me up when I seen it, but I wanted to share it with you guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think, yeah, it makes sense. You know, I won't have to carry around my keys or have a password for Facebook. I could just, pop some pills and, well, not pills, but pop some authentication vitamins and all good, Let me know what you guys think. You guys think this is a push too far, or do you guys think this makes sense for the logical future?
Jesus? Well, they're found in a text called the Gospel of Thomas. Jesus is basically saying, don't listen to those authority figures who claim God is somewhere far off, up in the clouds. God didn't hide the truth in some temple. It's woven into you. You rule over the all. You're Neo at the end of the Matrix. This is spiritual dynamite because it completely destroys the idea that you need a middleman, a holy building, a future rapture to get to God. The kingdom's not waiting for you to die. It's waiting for you to wake up. Jesus isn't saying that he alone is the light. He's saying you are too. But guess what? Modern physics agrees with Jesus. Yeah, I'm not kidding. The theoretical physicist David Bohm proposed something so radical it sent shockwaves through the scientific world. Everything. You, me, the device you're watching this on, the stars, the breath in your lungs are all just waves on an endless ocean of light. David Bohm called this the implicate order, a hidden undivided wholeness where everything is folded into everything else, not separated but entangled. And light was the key.
What if I told you the ocean was the real outer space? A couple years ago, this independent researcher, Tyler Schmerkenheiser, built this one-of-a-kind submarine. Not just any submarine. No, this thing had an adaptive hyperalloy composite hull, practically indestructible. Why? Because Tyler was obsessed. He believed the ocean floor itself was a lie. So what did he do? He stuck a camera on the front and dove straight into the unexplored depths of the Mariana Trench. And buddy, what he captured down there, no one's been able to explain it. Instead of finding the seabed, he found something else. An abyssal vortex. A swirling black whirlpool no other expedition had ever seen. And when he went through it, he rose up into a place he'd never seen before. A land with strange, human-like beings standing on the shore. Just standing there, watching, like they'd been expecting him. It was like some upside-down world hidden beneath the waves. The craziest part? Tyler believed these vortexes weren't rare. No, he said they were canals, gateways, scattered across the ocean floor, leading to realms we can't even begin to understand. And if you think that sounds impossible, just remember, we've explored less of our own ocean than we have of outer space. Maybe, just maybe, they're the same thing.
This is just a theory, not a fact. Once you start drinking from copper, you'll see the difference. I will continue to keep drinking out of my copper, just like all the copper pipes that used to be around America, until about World War II, they all started disappearing. And the whole copper is toxic is an interesting thing because our body is primarily copper and carbon. So how can copper be toxic? And then the other thing too is copper and carbon create electricity. What are we? Electrical beings. If we don't have electricity, our body doesn't function. Down in the South, they used to wrap people with copper so they could get rid of inflammation and pain and osteoporosis. So it doesn't make a lot of sense that copper is toxic to our bodies if it is part of our body. And remember, there are people paid to say something of a certain way, to get people away from something. So when you start to see all of these things, you start to see somebody might be saying something in order to stop the people from doing what they're doing. Everything is about being healthy. Remember that. And there's no profits, crazy amounts, in a lot of very healthy people. And once you start working with copper, you'll see the difference. Once you start using grounding shoes, or maybe a grounding rod into the earth with copper, you'll see the difference. Even if you start cooking from copper, there's tons of people who cook from copper still, got copper pans, copper things. And if you go to, like, let's say you go to the Balkan region, everybody uses copper. It's only in America we're not using copper. The copper has been removed. But what's funny is if you look at all the advertisements, they all used to be about copper.
I still list climate change as one of the great 5 problems.
From what I understand of copper, it's antimicrobial, so it's cleaner, let's say, to keep your water in it. It's more energetic. And also, from what I understand, it could lower or deactivate, from what I understand, the effects of fluoride. So in the 80s, when they changed from the copper tubing to the plastic PVC, that was also at the same time that they were introducing the fluoride into the system. Because theoretically, from what I understand, copper sort of makes the body negate the effect of the fluoride. Something to look in. It's very interesting. I'm actually looking into it. I've ordered myself a few pieces of copper, and I will keep you guys updated and see if there's a difference. Do you guys use copper? Have you ever used copper? Do you guys fear it, or do you guys think that it actually does have a health benefit towards you guys? Let me know.
You know, right up there with bioterrorism, managing AI, not having nuclear wars. You know, I rate that as still a super important thing. And so I'm sad that, you know, the current priority of climate change in the rich countries has gone down a lot as other short-term things are affecting them. And if you try to get voters to pay a lot for expensive things for climate change, and you often will get a different party elected who doesn't care about that. You know, people care about climate change, but when you say you get to buy an expensive car or an expensive electric heat pump, then they don't care enough for that. And so innovation is the only way to square that circle.
We have. Sorry, sir. What if we said no more jets? What if we told you no more mansions? What if we, he's talking about us not wanting to not buy an expensive machine when dude owns half the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, food for thought. Let's keep on running.
By full system engineering approach, allowing us now to use water as a main fuel source to be able to run a conventional engine and run it on water and do it and equal or supersede the performance of a car running on gasoline and diesel fuel. Many people do not realize that when you run a car or truck on either gasoline or diesel fuel, you're actually running it on hydrogen. And all we're doing is using the hydrogen from water. And under the National Bureau of Standards figures shows that when you use water, the energy release is roughly 2.5 times more powerful than that of gasoline. So water is a very powerful fuel.
We now know that robots are simply machines that do what they're told to do, but they replace human beings. It's not that they kill them, but they kill their jobs. They'll create more jobs than they kill, but they'll be different jobs. And the people whose jobs are lost may not easily be educable, there it is, into new jobs. So that we are going to have to accept an important role, society as a whole, in making sure that the transition period from the pre-robotic technology to the post-robotic technology is as painless as possible. We have to make sure that people aren't treated as though they're used-up dish rags, that they have to be allowed to live and retain their self-respect. Work has to be found for them. Those who can be educated into new jobs should be. Those who can be transferred, fitted in somewhere else, should be. This is not going to be easy.
You know, what else can you expect from politicians? They all lie. They all use doublespeak. It is that cynicism which leads to there's nothing I can do about it, so people withdraw. Is it true that you can put sugar-free on a product and still have sugar in it? Is probably the one question I've been asked most often, because people simply can't believe that happens. How can it happen? Because sugar-free simply means they haven't added table sugar or cane sugar to it. They can add mannose, fructose, any of the syrup sweeteners, and still call it sugar-free.
So, when you eat something that's sugar-free, there's sugar in it.
Oh, yes.
Because you need to understand there's a world of difference between the United States and America as a country. In 1878 to be exact, there was a privately owned corporation incorporated called United States Corporation. And it was stipulated in the corporation papers that anyone who would work for that particular corporation would be called a citizen, not an employee. It's a privately owned corporation. It was referred to as United States. So today, if you're conducting business in this country and someone asks you if you're a citizen of the United States and you say yes, because you perceive the question is, are you lawfully in this country to do business? And you say yes. They didn't ask you if you were a citizen of America. They didn't ask you if you were lawfully in America. According to international maritime admiralty law, they ask you a question. Are you, of your own volition, out of your own mouth, testifying that you are a citizen of the United States? The United States is a privately owned corporation. It's a privately owned company. And if you say, yes, I am a United States citizen, now that makes you an employee of a privately owned foreign corporation.
And that's a wrap for today, familia. Whether you're tuning in with the sunrise or posted up at midnight, I appreciate your time, your energy, and your curiosity. Remember, this isn't about truth or fiction. It's about perspective. If this sparked a thought, a laugh, a deeper question, then we did our job. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Keep the convo alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell if you're riding with the wave, and we're just getting started. Until next time, stay grounded, stay weird, stay critical. This has been Adam Strain for Adam Strain Reacts. Peace.
Now it's time for us to link up. Really think we on a break up. Making a change, who living this change. Living this change.